Welcome to a live stream for Matchday 8 in UCL Fantasy. And it has been a little while, but Champions League is back and hopefully even better this time. And as I discussed already in my team selection video, had a small green arrow from 29 to 21k and decent overall points, decent game week points, but I do want more. And I've already made 3 transfers. I'll discuss that quickly before going into your questions. But thanks to everyone who has joined in. I really appreciate it. And I mean, the lineups are going to be out now, and that's another thing to discuss. But yeah, there's so much to discuss. I'll just talk about my transfers. I ended up getting Mbappe in for Messi, and I always had a plan to move Messi out. Not necessarily for Mbappe, though, I will admit. But Mbappe is in here nonetheless. And I got in Marquinhos as well, just because PSG are likely to go through. I'd be very, very surprising if Barcelona did a comeback with that defense of theirs. And yeah, he came in for Angelino, who is ruled out for several weeks, actually. I think he's out even after the international break. And I got in Edison for Szczesny, because either way, that was a bit of a stupid move. Obviously, the only reason I really even got Szczesny in was to fund Ronaldo to Messi. At the time, there was a little price difference. I mean, there is Koundé here still, who is a doubt to play, and I don't really expect anything against Dortmund anyway. I don't even expect Sevilla to go through. But I don't think it's worth taking a -4 for Rudiger, who, although I don't expect him to be dropped, he's very important to Chelsea. There is a chance that he might do, and he'd have to get 8 points or more, really, or something like that, or maybe just a clean sheet to kind of justify that. And Atletico could do something. So I think I'm going to keep things as they are, take no hits, and then going into match day 9, I've already got some, transfers planned. So I might even do Stones to Diaz or Cancelo, get rid of one of the City midfielders, and then everyone else who is eliminated. So most likely Christian Romero and Koundé and Marcos Llorente, they would also make way, and I'd keep the rest pretty much the same. So hopefully that does answer that. Thank you everyone who's joined in. 28 people watching now. Really appreciate it. GZ said, what are your thoughts on the Hood? Yeah, he's been mentioned a lot now, especially after his goal against Sevilla the other week. Yeah, he's a good option around his price. Probably one of the better ones, one of the more low-key ones. So I think he is a decent option, actually. I'm not going to go for him myself necessarily, but if Dortmund go through, which I do expect them to, then he is someone I might consider, depending on how he performs in the second leg. But yeah, he is someone worth considering. Emilio says, hi Dylan, who should I pick, Haaland or Mbappe? That's a very difficult one. To be honest, I'd still go for Haaland. He scored in every single game this season in the Champions League. His Champions League record in general is phenomenal. So is Mbappe's, but Haaland is different level. And the fixture is slightly easier, I'd say. I think Barca could cause PSG problems, at least their defence problems. However, I just think that Barca's defence is too poor, and Mbappe will get some joy there. Obviously, Mbappe is far more likely to go through than Haaland is with Dortmund, but either that way, you'd expect both of them to go through. Haaland is my pick. Aranya says, even if it's not a lot about transfers, deadline streams are always nice. Yeah, I agree. And still plenty of people here, so I appreciate it, and it's worth it. And good to be here, and good that you're here as well, Aranya. Really appreciate it. Abdul says, best defender replacement for Angelino. So this is something I've been asked in my video. People were commenting and asking me questions about this. And I did say, in terms of replacements, if you don't have a City defender, that's a no-brainer. Rudiger, I think, from Chelsea, if not Azpilicueta. I wouldn't really go elsewhere. There's too much rotation with Reece James, with Chilwell and Marcos Alonso, so I'd stick with Rudiger or Azpilicueta. I think having one of them is fine. Marquinhos from PSG is the ideal one. And then from Juventus, if you want someone, Alexandro, I would say, especially with all the injuries they have, and I think he's probably one of the better options there. However, I wouldn't be too convinced. Unfortunately, Christian Romero is going to be knocked out. Otherwise, he's a no-brainer as well. Joshua Kimmich from Bayern Munich, if not Niklas Süle, I'd also recommend them. And apart from that, really, I'll be honest, with Dortmund, I would say Hummels because of the amount of ball recovery points he gets. It's crazy. But I don't trust Borussia Dortmund defensively. The only reason I have hits is because he's a budget keeper and he's a starter. So, I might as well. But I don't trust Dortmund defensively. However, I would say Hummels if you had to pick one, or Akanji. He's another one who's a differential and can get those ball recovery points. Other than that, I think Arnold and Robertson, even if they do keep a clean sheet in this game against Leipzig, long term, I probably wouldn't want to have them. Liverpool are just far too inconsistent, at least for now anyway. So I wouldn't go for them. So yeah, those are the kind of players I would recommend, if anything. I do the free transfers. We have carry over to the next transfer period? Asked King Khan. Yeah, they don't. This is something I was asked, and I made it clear. These transfers do not carry over. If you check the rules section of the site or the app, then yeah, it will tell you clearly that no transfers carry over. So if you make 2 transfers here and you have 1 to spare, it doesn't add on to the 5 that you get going into the first leg of the quarterfinals. So hopefully that makes it very clear for you. Should I buy Demiral instead of Azpilicueta, both for 4.9 million? Asked Ninad. Tough one. I mean, will Juventus even go through? I think they will, but you never know. Porto are a decent team. That's a tough one. I think who is more likely to get a clean sheet on paper based on the fixture? I would say Demiral, being at home technically against Porto, whilst I think Atletico will be a bit more offensive against Chelsea, so I think they'll go for it. They could nick a goal there. I'd expect maybe a 1-1. So yeah, I think Demiral is probably better for this game week, but long term I would rather have Azpilicueta. Mbappe or Ronaldo, as Juventus are behind, so he may score. Good question, Adi. Yeah, that's the thing with Ronaldo. Always in the second leg, he just turns up. And in those home games, although it's technically not at home, I think. I think it might be, actually. It's not one of those fixtures that have the neutral venue. But yeah, I think Ronaldo is obviously a great pick. I think long term, I would probably go for Mbappe. I expect PSG to go further. But for this game week only, I actually do prefer Ronaldo. That's my opinion. Although obviously I ended up going for Mbappe myself. That's more of a long term move. And also because he scored a hat-trick already against Barcelona. But yeah. How nailed do you think Mount is for the Champions League? Asked Julio. I think he's quite, I wouldn't say nailed, but he is one of the most important players in Chelsea. But now with Havertz picking up a bit of form, Tuchel has a selection headache there. So yeah, that's the thing with Tuchel. Apart from maybe Rudiger, Mendy and a few others who will start 90% of the games or something like that, I couldn't tell you. I think Mount will start most of the games, but there will be times where Havertz will play and then Mount comes on as a substitute. Tuchel loves to rotate. So yeah, I wouldn't say completely nailed, but in terms of the midfielders you have available, especially in those attacking areas, Mount is as good as it gets from Chelsea. Thoughts on Pavard? I think he is a doubt for this game. Otherwise, I would recommend him. He has been back in training, but he was ruled out of the Classica over the weekend, which Bayern ended up winning 4-2. But after that, I think Flick's comments put me off. I was never thinking of getting him anyway, but he said something like, we're going to ease him back in. After having an illness like that, you have to build up the fitness over time. So those kind of comments make me think he's maybe going to get some minutes some way down the line, but you just couldn't be guaranteed of that. So you might as well go for someone like Sula or Kimmich if you have enough money, if you want to cover that Bayern defence. So Pavard, if you have him already, is a bit of a difficult one. I would try to maybe sell him, but if you have a feeling he's going to start, then go for it. However, it's nothing set in stone there. It looks like his minutes could be managed. Kobe says, hey Dylan mate, who should I play, Olmo or Gundogan? Well, I would say Gundogan, but Kobe, this is the thing with Champions League, so I'll explain it again. As you can see on my bench, I have Ederson, Marcos Llorente, Koeman and Kimmich. Now, the reason why they're on my bench is because they basically play on the last day or two of the Champions League. So what you want to do, anyone playing on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, just play them. And if they blank during these substitution windows, which you see on screen, that's when you can start making changes and you can bring out players who blank and then bring on players who are yet to play. So that's why I would just say play Olmo, who obviously plays on the Wednesday this week. And then if he blanks, then you could always bring on Gundogan for him. And if not, it doesn't have to be for Olmo. It could be for someone else. So hopefully you get that, because that's a key part that a lot of UCL Fantasy players kind of miss out on. It's never really explained to them, or they don't check the rules or whatever, but it's a very important bit of information. Keep or sell Olmo and Torres? If so, for who? Torres, yeah, I'd definitely get rid of it. I'm assuming you're talking about Ferran Torres, and he did very well in the group stages, but I never expected him to start again in the knockout stages when the opposition became tougher. He's a decent player, but I definitely wouldn't have him. I'd replace him. Who for? That's a good question. I mean, there is Sergio Oliveira from Porto. There is Koeman if you have enough money to go for that. Leon Goretzka, he's someone who's popping up. He doesn't necessarily have to get a goal or assist. He's got plenty of ball recovery points in him. Foden is still an option. Gundogan, Chiesa, Cuadrado. I think I'd look at one of those players. And you know what? Chiesa or Cuadrado would probably be the top of my list from those I mentioned, if not Leon Goretzka. So yeah. I have Robertson instead of Marquinhos. Thoughts? Asked Brandon. Yeah, I think, like I said, Robertson could do well this week. Going forward, though, I expect PSG to go further than Liverpool. It obviously depends on who they play in the next round. That's outside our control. But yeah, I think Robertson probably a bit more likely to keep a clean sheet on paper than Marquinhos against Barcelona. Come on, mate, face reveal. Maybe one day, Kieran, but it's not important, really. It's not important. Aranya says, go through the rules, everyone. From the knockout stage onwards, no transfers are carried forward. If you don't use them, you lose them. Yeah, exactly, Aranya. It's all very clear in the rules section. And even in my previous videos, for example, my first draft video for the round of 16, I actually dedicated a few minutes towards the rules section to explain to casuals or maybe new players or whatever, or people who just weren't aware of it, about these kind of rules. How about Pavard? He is back, and do you think he'll play? Yeah, as I said, Sadith, I don't think he will play because Flick said his minutes are going to be managed, basically, that he's going to be eased in. He could end up playing in the Champions League. I'm not going to rule out completely. There is still time, but maybe he won't want to risk it, and he's got options there, so I don't think he's just going to rush him back in. So there is a chance that he doesn't start, so if you do go for him, just bear that in mind. It's not set in stone. Mount is suspended for leg 2. Oh, fair enough. I did not know that, but yeah, plenty of players are. I think Jorginho, Casemiro, so bear that in mind. Obviously, Champions League, UCL Fantasy, they take time to update suspensions and injuries, but it will all be there now if you go on the website right now. Dortmund's Mori is just 3.8 for this game week. Do you think he's a good choice? Yeah, but from Dortmund, I'll be honest, just hits as a backup keeper, Haaland, and maybe one of their defenders like a Kanji or Hummels. Apart from that, I think Sancho's ruled out for this game week. Yeah, I wouldn't really go for anyone else. That's just my opinion on it. Varad says, midfield replacement for Casemiro, already have Gundogan, Foden, Koeman and Llorente. Yeah, I'd say definitely, if you have enough money, Cuadrado or Chiesa, I'd definitely go for one of them. Captain Ronaldo or Haaland? Ask Aranya. That's a tough one. I'd probably still go for Haaland, but very tough one. And you know how Ronaldo is in the Champions League, especially in the second leg when his team is down. Yeah, he could definitely do the business. So you shouldn't go wrong either way there, but I just prefer Haaland. Will Stones play? Asked Miguel C. I hope so. I think he will, but I couldn't guarantee you that, to be honest. And it also depends on how City line up against Fulham in game week 27 of FPL. We'll have to wait and see. That's when we'll have a better idea and we can ascertain the starting lineup that, well, we would assume that Pep will go for against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Who is better, Foden or Goretzka? Asked Miguel. To be honest, I'd probably say Goretzka. He's more nailed, more ball recovery points. With Foden, you're mainly relying on goals or assists. So yeah, I'd probably say Goretzka. However, with Foden, he's maybe more explosive, or should I say he's more likely to get attacking returns. But yeah, I think Goretzka, probably more reliable. Best streamer I've seen so far. Keep up, bro. Thank you, Sadif. Really appreciate the comment, and yeah, I hope to improve. Thank you very much. WT says, thank you, Dylan. Appreciate your hard work. Keep grinding, bro. Yeah, that's the plan, and thank you. And this is all good fun, and hopefully you all do well in UCL Fantasy this week. Are you getting a Chelsea defender? Asked Blues FPL. Well, I'll be honest, I would want Rudiger, but I don't want to take a -4 to go from Koundé to Rudiger. And I think the plan will be, if Chelsea do go through, to get Rudiger in for Koundé, if not maybe Azpilicueta. And going forward, yeah, the other transfers I kind of already discussed in detail. So maybe Goretzka could come in for Foden or Gundogan. That there's a possibility, depending on if Chiesa goes through. Might keep him, might just sell him. Depends on that. Marcos Llorente could also make way for Casemiro if Real Madrid go through. So I've already got kind of a good idea of who I would bring in, but it just depends on who goes through. And a lot of games are tight still, and they could go either way. So we'll have to wait and see there. Will Jorginho play? I'm pretty sure he's suspended, Lars. But yeah, Jorginho obviously scored a penalty at the weekend as well, didn't he? So yeah. I'm going pretty well. My overall is 3.5k. Damn, that's very good. I have 3 players who go as injured and suspended. So thoughts on this hit? Ronaldo, Casemiro, Jorginho and Angelino to Mbappe, Jota, Cuadrado and Rudiger. Yes or no? Let me see. So, yeah, I mean, that hit makes sense and they're good moves. I'm not too sure about Ronaldo to Mbappe this week, but it funds your other moves, I'm assuming. So it does make sense. I mean, if it is possible, yeah, maybe instead of getting Jota, you could go for someone cheaper and then you can just keep Ronaldo and yeah, it will just make it simpler and you don't have to take a -4. But otherwise, you know, those moves look good. Haaland versus Ronaldo for captain. Haaland for me, Adi, as I said in my team selection video. But it's a tough one, and this is one where unfortunately you can't switch between the two because they both play on the same day. It would obviously be ideal. They're two great captaincy choices, but yeah, I'd go for Haaland. He's already scored plenty of goals against Sevilla. He hasn't blanked this season in the Champions League. Of course, he could in the future, maybe even today. Hopefully not, but yeah, I'd go for Haaland. Should I sell both Sterling and Koeman and replace them with Sane and Paredes? Good question. I think Sane's good, but in my opinion, yeah, going from Koeman to Sane, maybe not sideways move. It technically is. I would prefer Sane if I had the option, but there is a £1 million difference there. But to go from Sterling to Paredes, you're mainly going to be relying on ball recovery points. So unless you're funding another move up front or maybe in another midfield position or whatever, I don't think it's worth going from Sterling to Paredes. Definitely not. Best midfielder for 6 million or less than 6 million? I think Emre Can. I'm pretty sure the last time I checked he was 5.9 million. There aren't too many options, I'll be honest, around that price bracket. There are a few around 6 to 6.5 million, like Casemiro, Marcos Llorente. Obviously, I know Casemiro is suspended, but there are a few more options when you obviously go up in price. But yeah, I'd probably say Emre Can around that. How many points for Haaland to keep him captained? This is the thing. So the last two captaincies I had, I captained Immobile on match day 6, and I had the option to switch the captaincy to Neymar, and I didn't, and he ended up getting 10 more points. So sometimes it is worth taking that risk. But with Haaland, last time I captained him, he got 12 points, and I stuck it on him, and it was proved to be the right decision. So I would say if your captain gets double digits, I just leave it on him just in case. Obviously, if you are a very risky and bold manager, then fair enough, play the game you want to. But yeah, I would, if I get double digits from my captain, even 9 points, I probably would keep it on him. If it's 6, then I may risk it, especially if it's, for example, Haaland getting 6 now. There's 3 more captaincy opportunities for me to get more than 6 points, so I would risk it. So it depends on the scenario, but yeah, double digits, definitely I'd keep it on him. Haaland or Ronaldo as captain? Definitely Haaland for me, Jonathan, but back your gut on that one. Ronaldo is more than capable of dragging Juventus through to the quarterfinals. Captain Haaland, Mbappe or Lewandowski? Kobe asks. So Kobe, I hope you're still here. So you asked the question also about should I start Gundogan or I can't remember the other player, but oh yeah, it was Olmo. It's the same thing with captaincy. You can have a captaincy on a different day. So for example, on the Tuesday, you can just captain Haaland. It's as simple as that. If he blanks, tomorrow you've got Mbappe to play. And then if he blanks also, on the Wednesday afterwards, you've got Lewandowski. During the substitution window, you can change your captain. So hopefully you get that, because there's no point overcomplicating and saying who should I captain between these 3 great players who could all easily haul, because you can literally just change the captaincy between them depending on how your captain does. So hopefully you got that. Sonic Avalanche says, I have Cuadrado starting. No idea what he's saying these days. He actually did start the other day, I think as a right back against Lazio, I believe. So yeah, he should play. And he's very important. On the Pirlo, I think apart from Ronaldo, Cuadrado is one of the most nailed players when fit. So yeah, and he's definitely someone I was looking at getting, but then he got injured and I ended up settling with Chiesa. I think they're both the best midfield options for Juventus by far. Who's the most nailed on Chelsea defender? For me, it's Azpilicueta Aranya, but there's also Rudiger. So definitely one of them two. That's why I highlighted them earlier in the stream. I think they're great options. So yeah. Do you think Kimmich is a safe option? I need defenders for my Limitless. Yeah, he is normally Emami, but I'll be honest, because Bayern are in such a commanding position, they may rest players. So there is a possibility that even a Lewandowski or a Koeman or a Sane or a Kimmich get benched and they might come on after, depending on how the game pans out. But if you're just talking about nailed, when there's something to play for, then yeah, Kimmich is definitely nailed. I mean, he's one of the best midfielders in the world and Bayern's best player other than Lewandowski. So yeah. Salah or Mane? Mane's more of a differential, but Salah's on penalties and he has been better this season. I'd probably say Salah, but to be honest, Liverpool are just so hard to predict. And even against Leipzig, both of their goals came from Leipzig defender mistakes. So yeah, I'd probably say Salah, but not much in it. Josh brought in Koeman and Dahoud for Torres and Casemiro. I reckon Dahoud could be an interesting differential. Yeah, I think so too. And if I didn't already have kind of plans elsewhere, then yeah, he is someone I would consider too. And at one point, I think in my draft for the round of 16 first leg, I had like 3 or 4 Dortmund players in there. So yeah. And actually, let me check the lineups before I keep on going through your questions, but really appreciate everyone who has done that. So let's go to one of these apps and let's see who is going to be doing this. Okay. All right, so let's look at the Borussia Dortmund Sevilla lineup first. And is Kunde even playing? Hopefully, but I don't think he will be. Yeah, he is actually. Okay, that's good. So Kunde starts with Jesus Navas, Diego Carlos, and Acuna. He's back. Bono's in goal. Fernando, Juan Jordan, and Oscar Rodriguez. Suso, En-Nesyri, and Ocampos. Oh, he's also back. I thought he was injured. And then for Dortmund, Hitz is there, so that's good. I've got him in there. Schultz, Hummels, Emre Can, and Mori. Yeah, 3.8 million. Fair enough. I can see the appeal there, to be honest. Yeah. For the person who asked that question about Mori, yeah, I mean he's starting, so he's definitely worth getting. Yeah, that makes sense why you mentioned him. Bellingham, Dahoud, Delaney, Royce, Hazard, and Haaland is there, but yeah, as I said, no Jadon Sancho. So yeah, no surprises there. And then Juventus against Porto. Let's see the lineups. So Wojciech Szczesny, Cuadrado's there starting as a right back. Demiral with Bonucci, Alexandro, Aaron Ramsey starts. That's good. Rabiot, Arthur, Chiesa, Morata, Ronaldo. Yeah, that looks very strong. And yeah, that midfield is probably the best I've seen from Juventus this season because normally I look at it and they have, Bentancur and all these other players who just, I don't know. And then looking at Porto, Marchesín, Manafa, Mbemba, Pepe, Sanusi, Otavio, Mateus Uribe, Oliveira, Corona, Marega, and Taremi, who scored in the last game. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's pretty much what we all expected. Most of our players are there. Kunde, Hitz, even Mori, for those of you who have him, Haaland, Ronaldo, Morata, Cuadrado, etc. So yeah, that's pretty good. And I'll go back to your questions now. And so yeah, let's see. Let me try to get back up to speed. Don't want to miss any questions. Dahoud 5.3 million, Adams 4.7. Yeah, this is the type of thing. So around under 6 million, as Miguel C said, that's probably two of the best options you can get. Dahoud for 5.3 million, that's a good price. And Adams 4.7 million. The only problem with Adams, if you're looking to bringing him now, is that Leipzig are unlikely to go through unless Liverpool completely capitulate, which, to be honest, considering how the season has gone, is actually possible. But yeah, they're two great options on the 6 million. Also Emre Can, I'd say. But yeah, those are two great shouts, Miguel. Thanks for the input, Dylan. Loving your work. Keep it up, mate. Good luck. Thank you, Jefferson, and thank you for joining in. And good luck with this season. This was my first UCL Fantasy season, so I didn't understand the subsystem the first 2 game weeks, so I missed out on maybe 20 points. But it's going pretty well anyways. I'm in the top 2K. That's very good. And yeah, the substitutions is key, especially in the group stages. When I always say it's important to try to have as much squad depth as possible because there can be more rotation in the group stages, and that's why having those extra players on the bench to then bring on is very key. But yeah, it's a very important tip to know. FPL Book says, last match day I removed Salah from captain. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure who you changed the captaincy to, but yeah, these things happen anyway. I mean, Salah, what did he get? 7-8 points? But yeah, obviously, I actually had Salah and then I took him out to get other moves and invest more in my forward line. And obviously, when he scored, I kind of was fearing the worst. But you know what? You can't have everyone, unfortunately. I have captain Haaland tonight, and I'm starting Kunde too, like yourself. Yeah, I think, to be honest, they're two very highly owned players. And from Dortmund, Haaland is the most highly owned. And from Sevilla, Kunde is the most highly owned as well. So yeah, I mean, you'd hope for some points somewhere around the line. I mean, it would be awful if Dortmund score, but not through Haaland, and then Kunde obviously just flops. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Good 4-up, Lewandowski, Koeman, Sane, Kimmich. I mean, tripling up on buying attack isn't dumb, to be honest. So I wouldn't say that's bad. Having that 4 is probably 4 of the best players you can get from Bayern Munich. I would probably say having one of Koeman or Sane and Lewandowski is probably enough. I do like to try balance it, and that's why I'm also thinking of getting rid of one of those City midfielders. But yeah, it's still good. I mean, tripling up or quadrupling up on the team is fine, especially if Bayern are most likely going to go to the semi-finals or beyond. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think those are good. Yeah, Cuadrado's starting right back, yeah. And don't be put off by that because he's gotten plenty of assists this season as a right back, even in the Champions League. So don't be put off by that. Should I go for both Ronaldo and Chiesa today? I don't trust Juve much otherwise. Neither do I, to be honest, especially defensively. So to be honest, they might keep a clean sheet and I might regret selling Szczesny this week per se. But yeah, I think Chiesa, Ronaldo and Cuadrado are the ones you want to have. Maybe even Morata, who, let's not forget, is their top scorer in the Champions League this season. So yeah, I think having one of them, I would definitely advocate. Having 2 of them is obviously a bit more difficult, but I think it's still a good double up. I'm having both Ronaldo and Haaland. Who to captain for today? As I said before, Lynn, I'd go for Haaland myself, but don't underestimate Ronaldo. He's proven it time and time again for 15 years pretty much. I have 12.3 million and I need to transfer in 2 midfielders, preferably for the longer term. Who do you suggest? My other midfielders are Foden, Gundogan and Koeman, and I have Ronaldo and Haaland too. So you have 12.3 million and you want 2 midfielders. Well, that's a tough one. Let's see. I mean, yeah, because if you, for example, spend 7-8 million on one of them, you're not going to have too much money for the other one. And it also depends on who goes through and stuff like that, or who you think will go through. But yeah, I'll probably stick to the 6 million midfielders mark. And yeah, now that I think about it, I think Dahoud. I think Dahoud is probably your best bet. And then depending on how much money you have from there, 5.3 million. Yeah, you'd have 7 million. So let me try to think about this. Sergio Oliveira is a decent one, but I think Juventus will go through, so I won't say him. I think Cuadrado. And if you do have enough money somehow, then Chiesa. But I think Cuadrado and Dahoud are the ones who make more sense. Aranya. I don't necessarily expect them to go really far into the tournament, but they're 2 good long-term options so long as they stay in the competition, and maybe one of them will reach the semis. However, you would expect them maybe to get knocked down in the quarters, but you get at least 2 more games out of them if they do go through tonight. I was considering Ronaldo for captaincy, but sticking with Haaland instead. How do we think the Juventus versus Porto game will go tonight? I think 1 or 2-0 to Juventus, and I think Porto are a good team, by the way. I mean, they proved it the other week, and defensively they're very resolute. But I just think that I think Porto will sit back and Juventus will keep on attacking. Porto's plan will be to counter-attack them, and Ronaldo will just pop up and he will do the business. So I think, Juventus will do just about enough to go through. I could be wrong. Porto are a decent team and they might actually, produce a shock. But then again, I think the actual difference in quality between both sides isn't that big, So, yeah, Porto are a decent team. Thoughts on Ferland Mendy? He's actually someone that I wouldn't say I seriously considered, but he did very well in the last game, 14 points. And Real Madrid are decent defensively. They're probably, one of the better teams left in the competition in defence. So going for a Varane or a Mendy makes sense. Other than that, Casemiro, maybe Benzema, but apart from that, Madrid look very awful in terms of UCL fantasy assets. But yeah, Mendy's decent. What do you think about Kabak? I'm pretty sure he had an injury. That's why he didn't play against Fulham. But I'll be honest, with Liverpool, it's either Salah, Mane or Jota, and I probably wouldn't go anywhere else. There is obviously Arnold and Robertson. It's not necessarily a bad thing to have one of them, but I don't have too much confidence in them, I'll be honest. So yeah. Is Cuadrado actually starting at right back? I don't trust these predicted lineups. Our Sonic Avalanche. He's been playing right back most of the season. So if Danilo doesn't play right back, then yeah, Cuadrado will play there instead. So that's basically what Pirlo does, and he's a very offensive right back, obviously, and he gets down that wing very much. So yeah, he does play right back, and that's where he will be playing, especially looking at the lineup and who's actually starting. Yeah, he is starting there. So let's see. More messages have loaded up now. They weren't there before. 1-0 to Juventus, I'd say, says FPL Book. Yeah, I think that I could actually see that happening because Porto are good defensively. Juventus have quality up front, especially with Ronaldo. So yeah, I can afford Chiesa, our Sonic Avalanche. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Before the first leg, I would definitely say Cuadrado would be my ideal pick, but I think they're both good. Chiesa's going to offer you more goals. Cuadrado's going to offer you more assists and probably more ball recoveries. So he's maybe more consistent. Chiesa, maybe a bit more of a wild card, if you know what I mean, a bit more of a wilder pick. Bentancur is good, clearly don't know ball. Well, I'll be honest, from Uruguay, I mean, I remember Bentancur in Argentina and Boca Juniors, and a lot of people actually don't like the way he plays. I wouldn't say it's kind of like an Ozil type demeanor, but it's hard to explain, but people just don't like the way he plays. And yeah, I get it. He's decent on the ball, but you see his mistake against Porto. I mean, a top quality midfielder doesn't do that. He is very young, I know that, but I'll be honest, I think there are better midfielders that Uruguay have. For example, Valverde, but it's all about opinions at the end of the day. Porto will win tonight, for sure. Good luck to all. I mean, there's a possibility. Even, they don't necessarily have to win. They just have to hold in there. A draw is enough. So yeah, I think Porto could go through. It's not that, clear in terms of who will go through. And actually, I'm going to change my my predictions because I did have the Joker on Juventus 2-0. Obviously, I don't know if any of you play this. This is pretty fun as well. UCL Predictor. They have a lot of these types of mini games, and to be honest, I think I'm going to put the Joker on the Dortmund game or something like that, or maybe PSG. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it, but yeah, I don't know. With Porto, I'm not too sure. I'll be honest. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Dortmund. Any decent midfielders, 6.1 or less? As Miguel said before, Dahoud for 5.3 million, Tyler Adams for 4.7. I think Dahoud would be my preference out of the two. And then if not, Emre Can for the ball recovery points. I'd go for him. Thoughts on Jota? I mean, he is someone I've been eyeing up for time. Even in my first draft video, he was in there just in case, he got back to fitness and he would be like my Liverpool cover. I'm not entirely sure about him though. I'm not sure about Liverpool. That's why when Liverpool hit a bit of form, that's when you can trust them and you can say, okay, you know what, Jota's great cover. But yeah, you know what? I'd probably rather have Jota than Salah and then spread the money on the premium assets elsewhere. But yeah, I think Jota could be decent. Chiesa or Cuadrado for Casemiro? That's a tough one. I mean, maybe Cuadrado, but they're both good options. Like I said, Cuadrado's going to give you maybe more consistency. He's going to get ball recoveries and assists. But Chiesa is going to get you more goals, and yeah, he's going to be more threatening up front. Best defender from Chelsea, ask Imami. Yeah, as I said before to Aranya, it's Rudiger or Azpilicueta, definitely, because they're the most nailed. They got ball recovery points in them, so I think it's a no-brainer. I fully expect Leipzig to bang Liverpool 4-1. That's a bold prediction, Sonic, but to be honest, I mean, I don't know about 4-1, but I think Leipzig could go through. But 4 goals, I mean, that would be a disaster for Liverpool, wouldn't it? Should I keep Ronaldo for this match day over Mbappe? It depends. I would probably keep him. I do think Ronaldo could outscore Mbappe this week, so I would try to avoid taking a -4, for example, from moving Ronaldo to Mbappe. But it also depends. If it enables you to fund other moves, then I get it. But yeah, I'd probably try to keep Ronaldo. I didn't realise you can switch captains and had Ronaldo captain last match week. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I always try to... It may seem like I'm repeating myself, especially to those who already know the rules, but it's very important. A lot of people don't know it. You can change your captains and you can change your subs during the substitution window. That's why it's there. Best midfielder for 10 million already have Chiesa, Koeman and Gundogan. I mean, I think, yeah, I'd say Sane is up there, but you already have Koeman, so it's not necessarily that, big of a deal. Jota, if Liverpool hits some form, is still a good option. But they don't necessarily have to be the more expensive ones. There are other options out there. The ones we've already mentioned, Cuadrado, Chiesa, who you already have, Sergio Oliveira, even Dahoud, Marcos Llorente, but I'm not sure if Atletico will go through. And yeah, I just didn't like how he played against Chelsea, but that's another matter. Salah to Jota, I need the money to upgrade other players. Well, in that case, it makes sense. However, if it's for a -4, then that's when I try to maybe take a step back and try to limit it to just free transfers. But Salah to Jota to fund other moves, that's exactly what I was saying. I think that makes perfect sense. Would you keep En-Nesyri? He could get a goal, but I don't see his ceiling being that high. Obviously, it could be famous last words, but yeah, if you can maybe make a move to an Mbappe, a Haaland, Lewandowski, Ronaldo, whatever. I mean, it's very difficult to do that, but I would probably try to get rid of him. Keep the suspended Casemiro. I'll be honest, Casemiro is someone I'm actually eyeing up, especially as a Llorente replacement, depending on if Atletico and Real Madrid advance or not. So, you know what, I think depends on your plans, depends on who your team is. If you have a decent bench and you have a good starting 11, then yeah, you could just keep him, and because I'm assuming you would want him back if Real Madrid go through. Otherwise, yeah, just get rid of him for a Dahoud, for an Emre Can, for a Marcos Llorente. There's so many players around 6 million, even Chiesa or Cuadrado if you can afford it. So yeah. Is Lewandowski worth keeping this game week with Bayern 4-1 up? Don't own Haaland. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a good question, Mark. Yeah, that's the thing. I think Bayern could rotate, and even Lewandowski might suffer from that. So I think I'm not sure if he will play, actually. I'll be honest. I'm actually not entirely sure. But if you don't have Haaland, then it might be worth considering getting him in. He's nailed. He's going to play every single game, and obviously he is starting tonight. So yeah, I would try to get Haaland in if possible. He's someone that I just couldn't go without, and not owning him will hurt your rank, I think, but it's up to you. Thoughts on my Limitless team: Ederson, Cancelo, Alexandro, Romero, De Bruyne, Sterling, Salah, Mane, Messi, Haaland, Lewandowski, Mendy, Sane, Rudiger, Kimmich on the bench. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about Messi, I'll be honest. You never know. he is one of the greatest players of all time. I'd probably go for someone else other than Messi, and even Salah and Mane, I'm not sure about having both of them. I could be wrong there, but yeah, it's still a good team. It's a very good team overall. But having De Bruyne and Sterling, Salah and Mane, and Messi, those are the kind of things I probably would kind of doubt, but the rest looks very good. Alphonso Davies, yeah, as I told you before, Brendan, in the comments, I think Kimmich is a better option, Sula, and when Pavard is fully available, he's another one who I'd prefer, even Neuer in goal, so yeah, not for me. I think Stones will be benched for the FA Cup. Is it worth to get Rudiger for him? Yeah, good question. I mean, to be honest, there could be Laporte and Diaz in the FA Cup, and Stones plays in the Champions League. You never know. So I wouldn't say it's worth getting Rudiger in for a hit anyway. As a free transfer, maybe. But then again, what if Chelsea go out? Atletico can definitely score. I know how good Chelsea have been defensively, but Atletico can definitely put a goal or two past them. So not too sure about that. Worth taking a -4 Rudiger to Marquinhos? No, not for me. I just keep Rudiger for Archie. Best 5.3 million replacement for Danilo. I have Kimmich, Romero, Rudiger, Cancelo, and I have 4 City players, so Stones isn't an option. Okay, I'll try to think of one as quickly as possible. 5.3 million. Jesus. We got Kimmich. Damn. Let's have a look. I'll be honest, actually, my mind's gone blank here. I need to find... need to refresh in my memory, because I've actually been looking in detail for defenders, especially when ending up going for Marquinhos. So yeah, I did give it a lot of thought. I would say Sanusi, but do you think Porto will keep a clean sheet? Do you think they'll even go through, which is the key thing? That's the key thing when you're trying to make these transfers in between. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say Sula because you already have Kimmich, so that's enough cover, I think. Maybe Hummels, I don't like... Dortmund defensively too much, but I'd say him. Yeah, I wouldn't double up on Chelsea. Yeah, I'd probably say Hummels is probably one of the ones you could go for. Yeah, I'd say Hummels probably. I'm trying to think of someone else. City is the only team I'd maybe double up on. You could say Chelsea, but against Atletico, I think it's too risky. So yeah, I'd probably just say him. Florenzi's another one. But I'm not too sure about Florenzi, I'll be honest. That's why I went with Marquinhos for the extra 0.9 million or whatever the difference is. Barcelona will win tomorrow, but no remontada. Yeah, that's certainly possible. Maybe Pochettino will bring the bottle gene to PSG, but to be honest, I think PSG already have it in them to bottle it, but they're at home. Barcelona have poor defenders. They are a poor team defensively. That's why I don't think a remontada is going to happen. They could score a few goals, but I would expect PSG to also do the same. So, not too sure about that. But yeah, it's possible that Barca win. Haaland or Benzema? Haaland, definitely, Peter. But Benzema from Real Madrid is the standout option by far. There's literally no competition, but Haaland for me. I've done Messi to Mbappe, Jorginho to Chiesa, and Casemiro to Dahoud. They look like very good transfers, and yeah, those are very good. And that Dahoud pick, it seems very popular here in this chat, in this video, but... it's not going to be, wildly owned across the world. So, yeah. Haaland, Benzema, Lewandowski are my front three. That looks very good, Abdullah. And, yeah, Benzema's a good differential there. Thoughts about Azpilicueta? As I said before with Chelsea, apart from Mendy, Rudiger or Azpilicueta, those are probably like the 3 Chelsea players I got my eye on. Other than that, too much rotation in the attacking positions and in the wing-back roles. So, yeah, I think Azpilicueta is a good shout. And he started every single game under Tuchel so far. There will be rotation. However, I would expect Azpilicueta to continue starting in the Champions League. He is the captain and he is the figurehead there. Thanks, mate. Best options instead of Mane, Salah and Sterling? Yeah, you are the one with the Limitless team. I think Di Maria could be a good differential. I know it might not sound too popular or might not sound too attractive, but he has history against Barcelona. Even in the 4-0 last time, he scored a beautiful free kick, and I think he also scored a great goal outside the box. I think even Chiesa or Cuadrado, I know they're cheap, but they're still very good options. I'd maybe pick one of them. So yeah, it's not necessarily getting rid of Sterling. You could maybe keep him and get rid of De Bruyne. It's just, in my opinion, with the way City play, I think they'll be content with a 1 or 2-0 or even a 0-0. So I'm not too sure about Sterling and De Bruyne. I could be completely wrong. It depends on how Borussia Mönchengladbach approach the game and how City approach it. But yeah, you might be onto the right thing. I'm just not too sure about having those 2 double ups in particular. Ronaldo or Haaland, who must be captain? Well, who must be captain, Mehmet, is up to you, but I would say Haaland for me, as I've said all night. How's Jota as somewhat of a budget midfielder? Liverpool are likely to qualify and Leipzig are missing Angelino. Yeah, Jota's good, and if I had obviously unlimited transfers, I might actually bring him in for this week, but with Liverpool in general, it's a wait and see because I'm just not too sure. And if they do go through, obviously you're still going to get 2 more games out of them, but I think Liverpool could get annihilated depending on who they face next, and that's if they go through. But yeah, Jota's a good pick, no doubt about it. From Liverpool, he's probably the pick of the bunch, along with Salah and maybe Mane. But apart from that, I'm just not really interested. Will Cancelo play? I'm not sure, Brendan. And I mean, it depends on this is the thing. Who does Pep play against Fulham? And from that's when we can maybe guess a bit more with a bit more certainty. But I literally couldn't tell you. I think Stones will play in the next one. However, I couldn't tell you for sure. But yeah, it could be Walker and Zinchenko instead. Maybe even Mendy gets a run, although I doubt that. But yeah. Bro, I think you can do some watch-along live streams for some important games. We would love it. All right, fair enough. I will look into that. But yeah, I will have a look at that for sure. Sergio Ramos or Hummels? I'd say Hummels, but Ramos has done very well in every single game he has played in. He's on penalties, but I go for Hummels. Mbappe or Ronaldo? Long-term Mbappe, but for this game week specifically, Ronaldo. So it's up to you what you're going to prioritize, Guillermo. But yeah, for me, Mbappe is the better long-term pick. Stones or Rudiger? I mean, it depends if you have City cover already. If you don't, then just keep Stones for now. But overall, I think Rudiger's probably the better pick. He's more nailed, and you get that Chelsea cover for very, very cheap. So yeah, I'd probably say Rudiger long term, but try to get that City cover in there. And obviously we are approaching the deadline, but if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate it. And share this video around with anyone who loves UCL Fantasy, and there are plenty of managers who do love it. However, obviously it's not as popular as FPL, we do know that, but it is slowly growing here and there. And there's going to be more fantasy games, I believe. In the Euros, there's going to be a fantasy league game. For any of you who are not looking to catch a break there, there are more competitions. But yeah, UCL Fantasy, let's see what happens here. Atletico defense. Well, that's the thing, Brendan. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm just speaking on my behalf anyway. I'm not going to go out of my way to get an Atletico defender because they're at risk of being eliminated. And I already made transfers, for example, when I brought in Marquinhos. And I just think, yeah, he's just more nailed, and he's more likely to go through. And even then, PSG I would probably expect to go further than Atletico Madrid. But yeah, that's the thing. If you do have Atletico defenders, I wouldn't just go out of my way to get rid of them, but I also wouldn't be in a rush to get anyone in. And Chelsea could go through. They've already done very well in the first leg. And it could be another tight game. It could be a 0-0, a 1-0, or a 1-1. Either way. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Danilo to Hummels for -4. Not for me. I mean, wait. Let me check the lineups again. Is Danilo playing? I think he's not, isn't he? Don't know what happened to him anyway. But he's another one who actually was very nailed under Pirlo. But yeah, he's just not played recently. Is he on the bench? Let's see. I'm checking the bench quickly. Yeah, I think he's injured still. So yeah, that's why he's not there. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, he is injured, so that does make sense. I would maybe take that hit, but I'm not too, obviously sold on it. But yeah, I think Mbappe doesn't have high ceiling this week, as I think all his fuel was over in the first leg. Well, it depends. I think PSG might be a bit more defensive, or they might just be a bit more conservative and play safer in the second leg. So you have a point there. But then again, I mean, look who he's up against in Barca. There's no Piqué, there's no Araujo, who's very highly rated by Barcelona fans. So yeah, I think Mbappe could have another field day. Maybe not necessarily a hat-trick, but yeah, it's just good value, I think, overall. Morata and Chiesa or Haaland and Dahoud? Well, good question. I'll be honest, I'd try to have a mixture of both. I wouldn't want to double up on, Juventus or Dortmund per se. But I'm guessing, yeah, you wouldn't have enough money to go Haaland and Chiesa. But yeah, I'd go for Haaland and Dahoud. Szczesny for this match day over Ederson? I'm not too sure about that. I just rather Ederson anyway. I think City have a better defence. But for this match day in particular, I did get rid of Szczesny myself for Ederson. Yeah, I think Szczesny could could outscore Edison, but not too sure about that, to be honest. And if you have both of them, remember, just start Szczesny today and then bring on Edison after. Do you think FPL should use the substitution window? Good question, Kobe. I'd probably say no, but they should get something. So I think maybe, for example, a ball recovery kind of system I think would be good. It kind of makes your decisions even more difficult in terms of your starting 11 and also who you bring in for defenders, rather than just relying on attacking returns and bonus points and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe some of the chips as well, like the Limitless, for example. But I'm not sure about the substitution window in FPL. I think part of the fun in FPL is getting your bench right or getting it wrong, which I've done plenty of times this season. Do you think Juve will get eliminated? Asked Soren. I think they could, but I think they will go through. But it's a very tough one. It could go either way. I don't expect a hammering from either team. But yeah, it's going to be an evenly contested game, I would say. And I would probably back Juventus to just about go through. Why no PK? What happened? Oh, PK, yeah. I think he got injured again. This was several weeks ago, I think. But yeah, he's ruled out of the game and he's not in the squad. So it most likely will be Lenglet and Umtiti, unless Barcelona go with someone, I think he's called Minigueza. I'm not sure. I haven't checked him properly. But yeah, it's probably going to be Lenglet and Umtiti. And Umtiti used to be very good a few years ago, but he's lost it. And Lenglet has just been poor. When should I use my wildcard quarterfinals? It depends on how your team is. So if you have a lot of players who are eliminated, then it would make sense to use in the quarterfinals. Otherwise, there's no rush. You could use in the semi-finals or even the final. But with the Limitless, that's a bit different. That's when I would say try to use it either now or in the quarterfinals, because when you get to the semis and the final, you have fewer players to choose from. And the competition's going to be harder. More games are going to be kind of evenly matched. So I would say use your Limitless now or in the quarterfinals. And as for the wild card, it can be used whenever, really. Depends on your team situation. Captain Ronaldo or Haaland? For me, Haaland, Peter, as I said multiple times today. But Ronaldo is a good option and you can never doubt him. Definitely not. He is Mr. Champions League. Is Dest going to start? I think he will, Aranya, but I couldn't tell you for sure. But I think he will. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to have Dest. I mean, he got completely ripped the last time. And I would expect PSG to have a bit more joy on that side. What would you change in UCL Fantasy? Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's plenty of things. I'll be honest, I haven't thought about it now. But I'll try to think of something. I think maybe a bonus point system or a man of the match kind of points like Sky Fantasy have, I think. I think that would be good. So yeah, I'd say definitely bonus points or man of the match system is one of the key things I would say. Other than that, I mean, trying to think. Maybe the possibility of storing transfers over in the knockout stages. So for example, if I make 2 transfers and obviously I keep one, that goes over into the next round and I have 6 available. I think that would be good. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's plenty more. Stick or remove En-Nesyri, asked Abdul. I'd probably remove, but he could still get a goal or 2 against this Dortmund defence, no doubt about it. But there's much better options in attack. Mbappe, Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo, even Morata. There's so many options up front. Luis Suarez is still an option, so yeah. I would have done Messi to Mbappe in the quarters because Messi will try his best. Yeah, Ninad, but then again, he's not scored an away goal in the Champions League knockouts for how many years? And not necessarily his fault, it's the team as well, but just the way I see it, it also funded or gave me enough money to get Marquinhos in for Angelino and also get Edison in for Szczesny, and it places me in good stead for the quarterfinals. Obviously, I get your point, but I just rather would have Mbappe because I expect PSG to go through. If they bottle it, then fair enough, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just not sure about Barcelona, really. If Barca were a good team like they used to be back in the past, then yeah, I probably would have kept Messi, to be honest. When should I use the Limitless? As I just said, Miguel, I would use it either now or in the quarterfinals. I would try to use it in those periods because in the semi-finals and the final, you have fewer players to choose from. And also, the games are going to be more evenly matched and they're going to be tighter. There's going to be obviously kind of a need of not making mistakes. It doesn't always pan out that way. I mean, for example, Liverpool beat Barcelona 4-0 in a semi-final a few years ago and Barca beat them 3-0. So it doesn't always play out like that. But I just think logically makes sense to play it now or in the quarterfinals, whether it's the first or second leg. I have Dest and Olmo and I have to get rid of one of them because I have one free transfer and I don't expect any of them to qualify. So in terms of who to play this week, who would you rather keep? I'd probably rather keep Olmo, I guess. Could get a few ball recovery points, maybe an attack and return with Dest. I mean, I could be completely wrong, by the way, but with Dest, you wouldn't expect a clean sheet. If anything, he might even lose some points for conceding so many goals or getting yellows or whatever. So, in my opinion, I'd probably keep Olmo out of the two. Not ideal, but yeah. Danilo isn't injured, just suspended. Fair enough. But should I take the hit from Danilo to Hummels? I'd probably go ahead with it, yeah. Hummels could get 8 points or something just from ball recoveries. But yeah, it's not ideal, obviously. What does the Limitless do? Asked Kobe. It's basically like a free hit from FPL. I'm not sure if you play FPL. I think you do. But it's basically like that. So you have a team for one match day, but you have an unlimited transfer budget. So, for example, I could have that front three that you see on screen here, Haaland, Mbappe, Lewandowski, but in midfield I could have Sterling, Mane, Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, and in defence I could have Robertson, Trent, Cancelo, Diaz, Angelino. In goal I could have Edison and Neuer. So you get my drift. Even on your bench you could have very expensive players like Sane or whatever. So that's what the Limitless does. And it's just a way of kind of taking advantage of very good fixtures and building a team that you really think or really confident that's going to secure points. So yeah, hopefully that explains it well. And then the wildcard is basically the same as FPL, and that's a permanent fix to your team. But yeah, that's my explanation of it. And yeah, this is how my team is going. There's going to be no changes for once in this deadline stream. My bench is sorted. And just a reminder for anyone who is watching, remember, do not bench players who play today or tomorrow, because if you don't sub them on yourself, their points are going to be lost forever. So just try to have players who play on the final day or two on your bench, and you'll be fine. And it will give you more control of your team. Some of you might have automatic substitutions on. Fair enough, that's the way you go with it. And remember to change your captain between each single day during the substitution window, which will probably be around, in UK time, around 12 a.m. Of the following day on the Wednesday. So that's when you can change things around there. So yeah, hopefully that does sort things out. Yeah, no problem, Kobe. If we bank a transfer or two, no. As I said before, no transfers store over. None of them. So as I discussed before, if you make 2 transfers now and you have 1 to spare, that transfer is not going to be added on to the next round and you'll have 6. That's not going to happen. You're just still going to have 5 and that transfer will be burned out. So in the knockout stages, transfers cannot be stored and transferred over game weeks, and that's made clear in the rules section of Champions League. Who have you selected in Fantasy 5 for this match day? I'll be honest, I haven't played Fantasy 5, Abdul. I only done the Predictor. And yeah, UCL Fantasy. I haven't done UCL Fantasy 5. And yeah, actually, this, if anything, if I do change anything, will be my UCL predictions, or at least the Joker, where it's going to land for this set of fixtures. That's a tough one. Maybe I should just keep it on Juventus, do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's a tough one. Dortmund, Sevilla. Sevilla actually have a bit more of a stronger team this time around. Let me check. Do they actually have Rakitic in? Because he's a key player for them. He's not in there. That's a bit weird. Is he on the bench? Yeah, he's not. I think he might be suspended. So, yeah, I'm not sure about 3-1 then. Or at least... Jesus. Am I going to bottle this? Might go for 2-1. I don't know. Might go for 2-1 there. So because I'm a bit more hesitant, I'll just put the joke on Juventus, but I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure about any of these results. The only one I'm kind of confident about is Bayern beating Lazio, and I think I put 3-0 there, so yeah, I think I'm going to just keep it as that. That's the only thing I'm going to change. Let's see, let's get back to your questions. Thanks, mate, great job. Thank you for joining in, and no problem. Captain between Chiesa and Morata. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd probably go for Chiesa, but there's not much in it, I'll be honest. I would go with Juventus for Joker. Yeah, yeah, Abdul, I literally just did that as well. I had it originally, but I switched it to Dortmund, but yeah, not too sure about the Dortmund one because Sevilla can be decent on their day. Same scoreline I've predicted. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Lucas says, what's your final squad? Yeah, my final squad is this. Haaland will be my captain, Mbappe, Lewandowski, Foden, Gundogan, Chiesa, Cristiano Ronaldo, Marquinhos, Koundé, Stones, and in goal Hits. And then obviously I have on the bench, if need be, Edison, Llorente, Koeman, and Kimmich. And my transfers this week were Angelino out, who is injured, for Marquinhos. Szczesny out for Edison, also because it allows me to have two different keepers playing on different days. Szczesny and Hitz have a conflicting fixture. They both play on the same day. And I brought in Mbappe for Messi. So that's literally my free transfers. And I've got some transfers in mind, which I've discussed already in detail in this stream and also in my team selection video yesterday, where I make it clear what my plans are going into the quarterfinals and which players I'm kind of thinking about to replace some of the eliminated players or soon to be eliminated players in my team. Yeah, I also went for 2-1 Dortmund. Yeah, I had 3-1, but I don't know, I might just go for 2-1, but yeah. Thanks for the help, Dylan. I took the hit, Danilo to Hummels. Yeah, good luck. Hopefully that pays off. And yeah, if Hummels gets a clean sheet, so does Hitz. So, why not? Use the joke on 2-0 Juventus win. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We'll have to wait and see which Juventus turns up. I just expect Ronaldo to turn up and carry the team there. And they have some decent attacking players there. I like the lineup that they put out. That was what fills me with confidence. But Porto are decent, especially defensively. One of the best teams defensively in the Champions League this season. So keep an eye on that. Great job, mate. Good luck for you this week. Thank you, Fakri, and good luck to you as well. And hopefully you do very well and get those green arrows and are well set for the quarterfinals and beyond. But yeah, I mean, we're literally just about approaching the deadline, 4 minutes in. I'm normally changing my captaincy last minute or something, or making a last minute transfer, but none of that this week, just more chill, and hopefully it pays off and there's no stress during the game week. But yeah, I'll be honest, going forward, Foden, Gundogan, just not too sure about that. And then, yeah, the eliminated players, I'd say Llorente and Romero could be eliminated. Even Chiesa could, to be fair. And Koundé, yeah, most likely going to be eliminated. So, yeah, got to get rid of them and find better alternatives. And, yeah, it's a shame with Koundé. So cheap, but I think Rudiger's going to be the next best thing. But then I'll watch Chelsea get eliminated in the next round. Good luck, everyone. All the best. Good luck to you as well, Brandon. Good luck, Peter. Wish you all the best. Got Dahoud for Llorente, good or bad? I think it's good. I think he's more likely to go through. He's a good long-term asset. And he can get some goals, although not very likely to get goals. He's more of a long shot taker, but it could happen. But yeah, Llorente is decent, but I'm just not sure. Chelsea are just that good defensively that you're just not too sure. But then again, in the second leg against Liverpool last season, Llorente just turned up massively for Atletico, so you never know. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, good luck to you as well, Kobe. And enjoy the football, most importantly of all. And don't get too stressed over UCL Fantasy if possible. But yeah, that's we're approaching the deadline. If you have any last-minute questions or suggestions or comments, then let me know down in the comment section and I'll get back to you. And yeah, just we'll get these things sorted. And yeah, then we can just chill for the rest of the week, you would hope anyway. But yeah, I'm actually going to have a look. Yeah, I'll talk a bit through my predictions, actually. So I went with 2-0 Juventus. I put Juventus to score first and Ronaldo to score first. And I'm not going to change that. I think I'm going to keep it Joker activated. Dortmund 2-1 with Haaland and Dortmund to score first. I think, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And the lineups, nothing changes really, my mind. But then again, it could be someone random for Juventus. It could be Chiesa, could be Cuadrado, Morata, even Ramsey or something. And with Dortmund, you never know. It could be Royce. But yeah, who knows? Sevilla could do a comeback, and even Porto. These games are not over yet. And then, yeah, for tomorrow, I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about Liverpool. But I've just got a 2-1 win there. But to be honest, with the way Liverpool are playing, I just wouldn't be surprised if Leipzig went through on penalties or something. And then, yeah, with PSG Barca, I would be surprised if Barcelona went through. I expect them to concede at least 2 goals or more. And even though Barca could score plenty of goals themselves, their defense is just awful. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep all of those predictions the same, really. Your ranking UCL predictor? I'm not sure. I think I'm in the thousands, but pretty high. I think I'm in the top 10k or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with UCL predictor. Yeah, I rarely check my rank. I think last season I had a very good finish, top 10k as well. But yeah, there's fewer players in there. I'm not sure how many exactly, but not as much as UCL Fantasy. And then when you compare it to FPL, there's nothing like that. And actually, you know what? FPL should do something like that, an FPL predictor. And yeah, just getting points for that would also be pretty fun. And the Premier League is so so unpredictable that it would actually be pretty good. Barca will win the match mate, at least. I'm not sure though. I mean, I expected them to do that before, and they didn't. And there you go. The deadline has passed, and you can't make changes to your team. Everyone's grayed out, and that's it. Haaland's captain. I got Chiesa, Koundé, and Hitz also playing today. Hopefully, some points across the board. A good start would be very nice, and then yeah, just we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the week goes. But yeah, it's going to be pretty long. Obviously, the games stretch over 2 weeks, and then a couple of weeks until the quarterfinals, which is going to be very interesting as well. And I'm really interested to see what the Champions League draw will be like. Imagine Bayern Munich against City or something like that. I mean, those are two of my favourites to win the competition. PSG also have to be up there. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Mine is 121 rank. Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, wow, yeah, UCL Predictor. Maybe I should listen to you with the Barca one, but not too sure. That's the thing. I just don't have faith in Barcelona. I'll be honest, I don't. Haaland will definitely increase in price by 2. Oh yeah, the prices always change. Yeah, the prices change after every single match day. Let's just see. Actually, I don't think this game updates. So let's see if we can. Let's see. Has Haaland's price gone up? I think he was already 11.1 million. I'm not too sure. Yeah, Mbappe's price has gone up. He was 10.9 before. Yeah, so these are kind of the price changes already. There's no point really kind of, sorting your team out because we don't know who's going to go through next and we don't know who's going to draw who. So, yeah, I'm just having a look at prices a bit. Chiesa. Yeah, he's gone up 7.2 million. That goal definitely helped. I don't think he would have gone up in price otherwise. 6.6 million Gundogan. I think he was that already. Foden 7.1. Yeah, I think he was that. Christian Romero. He's gone up. Damn. Although Atalanta might go out, he's gone up significantly to 5.5. But yeah, definitely don't make transfers now. Wait a few weeks. Wait for all these games to happen. Wait for all the league games on the weekend following, or just, should I say, building up to the Champions League game week to happen before making transfers. Definitely don't do them now. Marquinhos is the same. Koundé, well, he's gone up as well, even though you just don't expect him to go through as well. Stones, same price. Yeah, he got benched, so a lot of people are not really going to consider him. Edison, 6 million. Same thing. Llorente, 6.5. Koeman, 8.4. Yeah, he hasn't changed, and I don't think Kimmich will change. If maybe 6.7, but yeah, 6.6 still. So yeah, let's see. Make transfers. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think, I mean, even Player, I think he's called, or Plea, he's gone up to 8.5. So there's been plenty of price changes already, so bear in mind that. It still says Mbappe's 10.9, but he is 11 million, as you can see. So yeah, that's interesting. I captain Ronaldo, just could not ignore the aggressive lineup Juventus have fielded. Besides, Sancho's absence kind of put me off Haaland. Yeah, fair enough, and I think that is a good point. Sancho being out could limit Haaland's supply. I would still expect Haaland to score, but yeah, as I said, for this game week, I think maybe Haaland, or should I say Ronaldo, is the best option overall. It's just Haaland's consistency is just, it always makes me back him over most people. But yeah, Ronaldo over Mbappe, for example, for this game week is something I've gone for. But we'll have to wait and see. Porto are good defensively. That's what puts me off a bit from Juventus assets. But we'll have to wait and see. How are you knowing if the players' prices have increased? Just because, from memory, the price I bought them at and also the price that they are now. So yeah, for example, Mbappe, I bought him at 10.9 literally just now, or today, should I say, and he's now 11 million, so that's how I know. It's not like I have eyes at the back of my head or something. Wildcard in quarterfinals is good because, every team's route to the final. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's why a wildcard now wouldn't make too much sense. A Limitless would, and also in the quarterfinals, but yeah, I don't know, yeah. The wild card could be used in any stage now, pretty much, but the quarterfinals is now good. You're going to know everyone's route to the final, and it just depends on how many players you have eliminated. If you have most players going through and you have a very good team, there's no point in wildcarding, even if it's the quarterfinals and everyone's stage. But it depends, everyone's got a different strategy and a different way of playing. Definitely. But yeah, thank you everyone who has tuned in. I really appreciate it. The games are going on now, so let's all watch the games and enjoy. And hopefully we do well this week, and hopefully all of our players do very well. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Why not? And I also post on that about UCL Fantasy and FPL. and you can contact me there. You might have a screenshot of your team or something like that, and you can talk to me there. And same with YouTube as well. If you subscribe, you can communicate with me in the community posts and also in all my videos and live streams. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Good luck this week, and wish you all the best, and just enjoy it, and stay chill, positive vibes only, and I'll see you next time.